So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Doug Leonard and Jordan Silverman, who I know is rushing home from work as we speak, so she may be joining a minute or so late. But now on to you, Doug.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan. And thank you to everyone on the call and the webinar tonight for joining. We really appreciate your time. We know it's a weeknight. You probably have some homework to do. And for many of you, there are exams and the semester is coming to a close soon, so things are busy. So we really do appreciate your time tonight. So thank you. So as Ryan mentioned, my name is Doug Leonard. I am one of the two admissions directors for the Out for Undergrad Business Conference for 2015. My co-director, Jordan Silverman, will be joining us shortly. And what we want to do tonight is just take a few minutes to talk about what is OUBC, who attends OUBC, what is the experience like, and what should you know if you are interested in joining us at the conference this year. So as I mentioned, OUBC stands for Out for Undergrad Business Conference. It is the premier business conference for LGBT undergraduate students in the country, and it's actually coming into its 12th year this year. So it's been going on for some time now, which is it's a great event to see put on again every year. So every year we bring together 260, 270 of some of our top students from undergraduate institutions across the country to New York City at the JP Morgan World Headquarters this year to talk about what it means to be an LGBT individual, both personally and also professionally in some of our focus industries. So those industries are financial services, management consulting, and professional services. This year's conference will be taking place October 2nd and 3rd, again at the JP Morgan World Headquarters in New York. And before we get into things, just to give you sort of a quick background about myself, I currently work at American Express, where I am part of an internal consulting team. So if you are familiar with management consulting activities, where we will solve problems for different clients related to strategic questions or other operational issues, so basically, we do that same type of work, but internally at Amex for different business units at the company. So I can tell you firsthand that I'm located in New York, and it's a great place to have this conference, a lot of great energy, and a lot of really interesting people to meet as well. So moving on to start talking about OUBC, before we go into what is the conference and what types of topics do we cover, we want to go over who attends OUBC. What does the typical student look like? And the answer is there really is no typical student, but we do attract diverse, high-achieving individuals to this conference. So in 2013, we had 264 students from over 70 schools attend this conference. And so they came from very diverse backgrounds, and we had a really great diverse population of undergraduate leaders and students who are very successful academically as well. The students who attended, more than half identified as non-white, so we had a nice racial diversity, and we also had great diversity across age groups. So OUBC is not for just one class year in particular, as you can see from the slide. We had about the same amount of juniors and seniors attend the conference, around 40% each, and we also had about 20% of our students were sophomores as well. Now, for those of you who may be first-year students, please do not be discouraged by the graph. There were, few students, not enough to get a big enough sample size on our graph. But we do welcome applications from first-year students. We just find that there are typically fewer of them at the conference because they may still be figuring out if they're interested in business, what they want to do for a career, or may have just not heard of OUBC yet. But regardless of sort of what this student at OUBC looks like or what background they come from, something that they all have in common is that OUBC makes a lasting impression on them, and that's conference. So obviously you can see some information about students and what they think about OUBC on this slide, particularly the near 100% rating for students who had a positive experience, rating it above average or excellent. But I really want to draw everyone's attention to the 58% figure down at the bottom of the slide. of students who were more likely to come out during their careers as a result of attending OUBC. And this is something that really speaks to one of the key missions and key focus areas of the conference, which is to make sure that everyone who attends is comfortable with themselves. They can choose to be out at the workplace if they want. What OUBC wants to do is really give you the tools and the experiences and the conversations to help you feel comfortable with your whole self and bringing your whole self either to work or to your personal life. And that's really just a great statistic to see and something that's really encouraging to hear from students who attend the conference. And as I mentioned, we had over 70 schools send students in 2013. These are just a few of them up here. You may see your school, you may not. If you don't, do not be discouraged. We have many more schools send students. These are just a few. And as you can see, students come from really, some of the best schools in the country. And they are really students who apply themselves in their extracurriculars, academically, and really they're all around go-getters. And so it's a great crop of students who come to this conference, and it's a great group to see in one room and to just really be inspired by the future leaders, current and future leaders out there. So now I think Jordan has actually joined the conference call, the webinar. So I'm going to pass it over to her so she can give us a quick overview of programming. Hey, Jordan.
Hey guys.
Hey, Jordan, are you on mute?
Hear me?
Yep.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you. We're just getting into programming.
Okay. Yeah, I know, I see. First of all, I apologize to everyone for being a little late. Unfortunately, I have a real job in addition to doing this, and they expect me to do things, which is very strange. But I'm very excited, first of all, to take the torch from Doug, who I'm sure has done a great introduction. If he didn't tell you guys already, my name is Jordan Silverman. I graduated from Penn last year, and I'm currently working in sales and trading at Deutsche Bank. I never attended OUBC as an undergrad, and part of that reason is why I'm so excited to be involved in it now as an organizer, because I really want to explain you how much I wish I had done it in the past. And so just to kind of give you guys an overview of the things that we're trying to achieve for OUBC. The most important things really, so it's kind of threefold. It's first of all helping you to create an environment where you have a community of other LGBT college students and professionals, people who have the same interests, who have the same types of things they want to achieve with their life, but who also understands kind of the challenges that you may face as an LGBT individual. Second of all, we want to help you kind of learn about the industries that you may want to get involved in. So that's, teaching you what is sales and trading versus investment banking versus consulting. And then finally, to help you to connect you to those people who are years ahead of you doing the same thing that you want to do. So for me, it's been really eye-opening to see a lot of the incredibly impressive LGBT people who are further along in their careers than me, who I've been able to kind of pull upon their strength and upon their experiences to help my own career and my own life. So the way that we do this is through a couple of different programming highlights. So it's 3 days, it's packed, or 2.5 days is packed with different types of programming. The most important is definitely the keynote speaker. So that's kind of the couple of main speakers that we really think you're going to get the most out of. In the past, these have been, the former BP CEO who wrote a very interesting, very impactful autobiography of his own coming out story. Managing directors of Goldman Sachs, the kind of people who have a lot of wisdom to impart. And these tend to be kind of the most highly rated, the most enjoyed events of the conference. Besides that, this year we've tried really to extend our programming to include some of the more diverse sets within the LGBT program. So part of that is the Women in Business program. So that was a really successful event that was more of a kind of open discussion networking event where women in the industry, or people who identified as women in the industry, got to sit down with people who identified as women who were undergraduate students and really just share their experiences, share their fears, share their interests, make jokes, laugh, talk, meet each other. And that was a super successful event that we're going to continue in the future. Similarly, the Gender Diversity Breakfast was primarily aimed at students who identify as gender nonconforming, genderqueer, transgender, and was also just open to people who wanted to learn more in a safe and respectful environment. Also with kind of a networking open question format, and was incredibly successful. And that's something that we're going to continue this year, and also continue programming, like having preferred programs on name tags. So really trying to kind of incorporate these more, less widely represented LGBT communities within the programming sessions themselves. Finally, for the branch of kind of teaching you what the industries are, helping you kind of get an edge, helping you understand where you might want to take your career, we have industry overviews. So there will be overviews that explain what is banking, what is risk management, what is compliance, what is sales and trading, what are hedge funds, so that you can go into the process of trying to figure out your career with a little bit of knowledge about what you're doing and what might interest you the most. Should we, I don't know how to slip to the next slide. Oh, great. Okay. So other events that are really interesting, we have a career fair that allows you to get to know some of the recruiters and some of the people from different banks and consulting firms a little bit better. We also have small group discussions where you get to sit down with someone who has volunteered to be involved with tackling maybe more personal or more intimate questions, and really have a chance to kind of air your opinions, get some other opinions, open up your mind, and also share your own thoughts and experiences. Also, we are not all about learning and seriousness. We have a lot of fun, and OUBC is a really great experience. So we have two really fun events. The first one is our cocktail networking event on Friday night, where you get to kind of relax, get some food. If you're over 21, you can get a glass of wine, get to know the people around you, and kind of unwind from a day of pretty intense, thought-provoking stuff. And then finally, we have a closing dinner reception, which is always our #1 rated event, where we have an incredible dinner, an incredible programming where you get to kind of thank everyone who's involved. You get to circle up with all the people you met, and it's always a really, really great time. So again, if there's any questions, you can send those in. We're happy to answer them. And I'm going to turn it back over to Doug from here.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. And yeah, definitely echo the last point. There is a lot of fun at OUBC. It's a couple of intense days, but we do have a great time as well. So now that we've sort of gone over who attends the conference and what it looks like, we want to give you some information to sort of better prepare yourself if you are interested in attending OUBC this year. So there is an application process, and we'll go into where you can find that on the next slide in our presentation. But there are some key dates and deadlines to be aware of. So first and foremost, we do applications in 2 admissions rounds, round 1 and round 2, and we perform admissions on a rolling basis. So what that means is if you apply to the conference as part of the round 1 pool, you get your application in before the April 20th date that you see on the slide here, then we'll look at your application, we'll review it as we normally would, but if for whatever reason you are not admitted to the conference during that round, we automatically transfer or roll over your application materials to round 2 and reconsider you a second time. So for students who are really interested in attending OUBC, or even moderately interested, if you do want to increase your chances of admissions, we highly recommend that you get an application in before April 20th as part of round 1, just to increase your chances by being in both rounds. So once those dates pass, we'll send you our decision on the application. Make sure you have the information you need to attend the conference. I will add that OUBC, thanks to some very generous donations from our sponsors that you will see below, handles the travel logistics for all the students attending the conference. So we'll work with you over the summer to make sure you have all of your travel plans finalized for October 2nd and 3rd. Again, it's a Friday and a Saturday, the first weekend in October, held again at the JP Morgan World Headquarters in New York City. And then lastly, you can see here at the very top of the slide, if you do want to have, if you want to find more information about OUBC or Out for Undergrad, our parent organization, you can check out www.outforundergrad.org. If you want to get OUBC specific information, just continue that URL with /our conferences /business. There you'll see information, what we went over tonight on the call about applications, about dates, speakers, things like that, as well as the link to apply for the conference. Additionally, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Jordan. Our emails are there. You can send us any question you want via email. We're happy to answer you and get back to you with a quick answer. You can also reach out to Eric Zhang, our campus ambassador coordinator this year. And I think now we are going to work with Brandon, who is our Out for Undergrad Executive Director, to answer some of the questions that students have submitted during the webinar tonight or earlier in the week leading up to it.
Hey everyone, thanks Doug, I appreciate it, and thanks to so many of you for tuning in tonight and for submitting such great questions in advance. As Doug said, if you have other questions, please, now's your chance, though, ask any time. But now is a good chance. Please type them in the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel. I'm the Executive Director of Out for Undergrad. I am a law school graduate myself. I graduated from law school at Yale in 2006, and I worked after that briefly at a hedge fund, spent 5 years in consulting at McKinsey, and launched a startup of my own in 2012. Since November, I've been the executive director of Out for Undergrad, and I'm super excited about it. I think this is an awesome organization, and I think OUBC is, as Doug and Jordan said, a fantastic time. We got some great questions from some folks in advance, so I'm going to pose them for Doug and Jordan to answer, and I'm synthesizing a few of them into shorter questions in the interest of time. So there were a number of questions that came in about the job opportunities that students will encounter. Could you comment a little bit about what specific kinds of job opportunities students can expect to encounter? I know you showed some of the names of the participating firms that will be there. Could you give a sense of the mix between summer and full-time opportunities? Comment on how students should treat this, like vis-a-vis the on-campus recruiting process that may be happening in parallel, and any tips for what to expect from employers. For instance, whether they're going to have interviews on the spot and stuff like that.
Sure, absolutely. All great questions, and again, sort of the recruitment aspect of OUBC is a very, it's a very large part of it. A lot of students meet a lot of very interesting employers here, so definitely some great points brought up on that question. So first of all, types of employment that are offered by our sponsors at the conference. So as I mentioned, there is a pretty even split between juniors and seniors who attend the conference, and our sponsors are very aware of this split, and so they know that juniors are not necessarily going to be looking for full-time employment, as they still have a year of school left. So there are definitely plenty of summer internship opportunities available with our employers. And again, there's a pretty even split across industries there as well, across finance, across consulting, and across professional services. So no matter your industry of interest, or even if you're still sort of gauging what you're interested in, there are definitely going to be offers out there and opportunities out there that apply to you, that you can learn more about and speak with the recruiters from these firms to learn if it may be a good fit for you and if you're interested in pursuing that opportunity. In terms of the on-campus recruiting cycle, that is definitely something that OUBC takes into account when we are scheduling our conference. We want to make sure that we are helping align whatever activities you're taking part in at the conference with any applications you may have submitted with some of our sponsor firms ahead of time. We picked this early October date because it tends to fit in well with the fall recruiting cycle for our focus industries, because many of them do sort of focus on that first semester senior year in recruiting students, and well as sort of later in the first semester recruiting students for internships. So, if you have already submitted an application to a sponsor and you do meet them at the career fair, and you want them to know there is a resume drop that all students will submit a resume, and all sponsors will receive the students' resumes. So you can be sure that sponsors will know that you have attended the conference, and that may be something that they will factor into their decisions.
Great. Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Cool. The next question is about the application process. What are you looking for in an applicant? And could you comment on what students should say or do to stand out in their applications?
Sure. So again, as I mentioned earlier, going over sort of who attends OUBC, there is no typical OUBC student. We look for leaders from all walks of life and all backgrounds. Something that we are interested in is, have you taken a leadership position at your university, maybe in a community group, maybe in your LGBT organization at school, and maybe in some sort of business organization. It really doesn't matter what organization or what part of your life you've become a leader in. We're interested in seeing that you are an individual who is very interested in applying themselves and is very interested in being a go-getter and working towards meeting other people, sharing ideas, taking leadership positions. So all of those things are things we look for. We do look for academic achievement as well. As you saw, we have some great undergraduate institutions sending students to OUBC. There is by no means a GPA cutoff, but we do look to see that students are working hard in school. But that's not to say that someone who may have a lower GPA but has amazing leadership and extracurricular activities, that person would not necessarily be disqualified from the conference. So in terms of sharing your identity as an individual, as a leader, as a student, we're really interested in what makes you unique and what shows that you're going to come to OUBC and share interesting ideas and engage with the other attendees and the sponsor representatives and the out professionals at the conference.
Awesome. Maybe I'll throw the next question to Jordan. Jordan, there were a couple of questions that came in focus on the topic of diversity. I know you are, I guess Doug showed earlier some very positive statistics about the diversity we expect in the student class at the conference. Could you talk a little bit about what students from diverse backgrounds, whether that be gender identity or race or membership in an underrepresented minority group, or diversity of backgrounds, could you give a little sense of what students identifying as members of diverse groups might find at the conference, and how we curate the experiences for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So this is a question we love to get because it's also a question we love to answer. It's something that's very important to us. So the most important part of OUBC going into this year, we want to build the most interesting, diverse class that we can possibly build. And so what we've really done, as you can see, since OUBC started, is really focus on how we can make everyone who identifies within the LGBT bubble or the LGBT umbrella feel incredibly included. And so I mentioned some of the programming specifics that we hope will help people feel like there's a place for them within the community. And this is something that we've built, we're really proud that almost all of our participants have found a way to feel really included. And we've really listened to the people who have had comments or constructive feedback for us to help us make this an even better place. And so we are trying to make this year the best, most diverse, most interesting group of people. And so 100%, if you, you should definitely feel encouraged that no matter where within this spectrum or this world you fit, there's a place for you here. And that's how we want you to feel. And so we've included that in our programming. We've included that in the way that we want to build our class. And I think most importantly, what we've done is we've tried to include that in the sponsors that we incorporate. And so we're really reaching out to our sponsor firms to make sure that the representatives from these different companies that you meet will reflect that kind of diversity that, we want to reflect in the conference. And so we partner with companies. We find these really great people who identify as racial, gender, background minorities, maybe they're first generation college, who you feel like you can really identify with and who have different stories. And so it's definitely something we've taken very, very seriously this year, And I think the best thing I can say to anyone who might be concerned about where they fit is apply, and we will find a place for you, and we will do everything in our power to make sure you feel comfortable and welcome and part of the community.
Awesome, thank you. And then I think one last question, and then we'll end on this one in the interest of time. The student asks, I'm not yet fully out. Some friends know I'm gay, but the student's parents might not. Could you comment on how students who might not yet be out, or might, non-judgmentally, I don't want to use the word yet, but who might not be out or who are concerned about outing themselves by attending a conference like this, could you comment on how those students should feel and the extent to which they ought to apply to the conference?
Sure. So first of all, I would note that OUBC takes this, and Out for Undergrad as well, takes this question very seriously. We want, again, as Jordan mentioned, and like really hammering home this point, we want everyone to feel comfortable to come as they are with their full selves to this conference. So we don't want to pressure anyone to feel any certain way. And to that end, what we do is OUBC and Out for Undergrad are very protective of the information of individuals who attend this conference. So if you are not out and you do attend and you are concerned that perhaps your family or your campus would find out about your attending, there is no need to be concerned about that. We keep that information to ourselves. The only folks who will know that you are attending OUBC are the other students at the conference and the sponsors who are at the conference as well. So only those folks who are within this bubble of OUBC in New York for those 2 days will know that you attended the conference if you want it to be that way. There are definitely photos taken at the event throughout the 2 days, and we do leave the option open for students who may be concerned about a photo of them appearing on our website if they don't want to be outed in that way. We do have the option available for you to request that no photos are taken or shared of you at the conference. And so this is something that we take very seriously, and we really make sure that you feel as comfortable and as welcome as we want you to be at this conference.
Cool. Yeah, I'll also mention just on that front, I think Doug is completely right. We absolutely respect privacy, and as he mentioned, we give everyone the chance to opt out of photos and to keep their attendance to themselves. I will say, yeah, the only folks who are certain to find out that you were there are our sponsor firms, or the firms that are there recruiting, and everyone should understand that the reason the folks are there understand that they truly have come to understand the importance of the LGBT community as a part of their workforce. I'll say finally, as a last point on this note, when I began my career, I wasn't out, and from my own personal perspective, that was a mistake. OUBC is itself an incredible opportunity to experiment with the idea of being out, or being an out person as you begin your career, and to do that experimenting before you jump into your career. So it's a really safe place to experiment with the notion of being out and what it means and how it might impact your life without the pressure to do it on day one of a new job. So it's definitely a cool and great experience, even if you're not someone who is publicly out about your orientation. So I'll say thank you and duck off, and I'll let Doug and Jordan close it out from here. But thank you and good luck, and I hope lots of you apply and attend the conference.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, I think that really covers it for us tonight. Jordan, is there anything else you wanted to go over with the students tonight?
I think we've done a great job. I think we've done a great job of covering everything. I was just reinforce that if you guys have any questions at all, reach out to the O4U family. We're here to answer those questions. Tell your friends, definitely apply. And I think my biggest regret in undergrad was not doing OUBC, and it's the best thing that I've done since I graduated. So, there's nothing bad I could say about it. Absolutely apply. It's a great experience.
Absolutely, and just as a converse, I did attend as a senior and loved it. It's an amazing experience, and so we really do encourage everyone on the call tonight. If you have even the slightest interest, reach out to us with a question or apply. It's totally up to you, but we would love to hear from you going forward. And thank you so much for your time tonight, everyone. We really appreciate it. Have a great night.